Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video, we explore the story of Garten of Banban 2, with a full story explained video, a look at the game's secrets and Easter eggs, and a theory as to what all of this may mean based on the evidence currently at hand. If you haven't yet caught up to date on the story of Banban, then check out part 1 of this story explained series. I'll leave a link at the end of this video. With that said, sit back, relax, and let's dive into another episode of Horror Games Explained. Our nameless protagonist awakens after taking a tumble down an elevator shaft during the final moments of Garten of Banban 1. The culprit, a giant green mascot known as Jumbo Josh, has been crushed, and so for now our hapless hero is safe. They collect up the remote previously used to operate their helpful drone companion. Unfortunately, the device is now broken. Collecting up the keycard and pushing forward leads them into a wide open area, where it becomes apparent that an enormous facility has been constructed deep beneath the kindergarten. In this atrium we find a note written by a former worker at this facility. The note speaks of the abyss, perhaps in reference to the dark void beneath this very room. Everything that has been thrown into the abyss was said to die, but it turns out this assumption was false. The note states the workers were tricked, and that their dark experiments have come back to bite them. It ends by suggesting that anyone reading the note should leave and forget the facility ever existed. Unfortunately, this nameless protagonist is unable to leave, and besides, as referenced during the intro to both chapters, they are a parent in search of their missing child. So, they continue onwards. The road ahead splits into 3 paths, a rotating platform used to access each of them. Only one path is currently unlocked, leading to the comm sector. As we enter this area, strange messages can be seen, stating the spider is real and it's coming. We briefly glimpse a blue monster staring at us from behind the door we just entered through, but just like that, it vanishes into darkness. In the comms room there is a table containing a drone, but it can't be piloted until our remote is repaired. We also see a wall featuring the Kintergarden mascot family. Familiar faces such as Jumbo Josh, Banban, Bambalina, Stinger Flynn and Captain Fiddles are joined by new faces. There's Slow Celine, whose motto is, "I may be slow, but I'm quick to help anyone in need." Sheriff Toadster, who proclaims, "Treat others how you'd like to be treated, with respect." And finally, that creepy blue monster known as Nab Nab, who states, "It's okay to have no friends and be miserable like me." At that moment, a voice blurts out over the intercom, desperate to make contact with another survivor.
"Oh, thank God. I'm so glad you're here. I thought this was the end. I was looking around and walked into the security room. Then the door closed behind me and I've been stuck inside since. It needs a light blue key card to open, but I don't have it."
Before heading over to the maintenance area where the key is found, the stranger opens a nearby room, where we are able to fix up the drone remote. With the drone once again by their side, the protagonist heads to the maintenance area, where they locate the lost keycard. Also in this area we find our first secret, a tape which can be played back in the comms room on this TV here. It reveals a character who looks very much like Banban, imprisoned within a room. After collecting up the blue keycard, we are chased back through the warehouse by the creepy blue spider Nab Nab. If Nab Nab should catch us, then he drops from the ceiling and instantly kills our character. So it is vital to be fast and nimble as we rush back through the maze of shelving units, guided only by the blue arrows on the floor. Back in the comms room, we are now able to use the keycard to enter the blue door. However, the interior of the room is empty, aside from a note which reads, "If you read this fast enough, you might escape." As we pick up the note, Banban rushes up from behind us and knocks the protagonist unconscious.
3 birds with 1 stone. I'll get all of your key cards, I'll get the perfect specimen, and I don't have to deal with that thing down there. Either way, it's best you take a nap while I prepare for our little surgery.
Waking up, the protagonist finds themselves trapped deep within the depths of a facility. Luckily, they still possess their trusty drone and remote control, and are able to use it to complete a puzzle which grants them access to a button that calls down the elevator. Before leaving this area, look to the left and you will find a note which discusses the creation of Banban, referred to as the Devil. Banban was experiment number 6, and his DNA originated from that of a human spliced with a mysterious substance known as Javarium, or GV for short. From this note, we learn that these mascots recall the memories belonging to the human whose DNA has been used during their creation, though they do not recall the names of people they knew. They also retain an identical level of intelligence. Unlike previous experiments, Banban is said to be docile and cooperative, not attacking the staff or children of the kindergarten, although he remains confused about his existence and newfound form. After riding the elevator to the upper level, we find ourselves in a laboratory area, where horrifying experiments took place upon creatures that bear a striking similarity to the Captain Fiddle's mascot. While exploring the lab, a cry for help is discovered on this case update report. The writer appears to have been a scientist who had a change of heart. They speak about the GV experimentation and describe how every case has ended in excruciating pain. They also explain how these living mascots are not safe to be around children, that the experimentation should be shut down before it's too late. It seems this staff member was ignored and things took a dark and disturbing turn for the worse later down the line. Scanning the QR code on this note brings up the search term, "They're not alive, they can't be." In order to escape the lab, we must mix up a solution by collecting up a syringe and then using it to extract DNA from each of the experiments found lying around the science wing. The only problem is that one of these subjects is still alive, a giant version of Captain Fiddle's who guards the exit. To collect the beast's DNA, we must use our drone to distract them. Once all of the DNA has been mixed up, it opens a storage room containing a rocket. This rocket can then be loaded into a conveniently placed cannon opposite the giant monster and then fired at its eyeball, sending the creature reeling back into the depths of the facility. Secret 2 can be found inside the room the giant previously inhabited. It is a hat that can be placed on our drone as a cosmetic item. The room beside this is now accessible too, and contains the keycard required to escape the science wing. This exit leads back into the atrium, though this area has now changed with the appearance of a giant worm-like creature with a distorted, screaming face, likely the face referenced in the note from earlier. This monster seems docile, but is no less terrifying to behold. The testing sector is now accessible, and so our protagonist heads past the monstrous face and into the unknown. In the reception area, we collect up another case report, this one detailing experiment number 10, the Apilla bird. To create this mascot, a bird's DNA was spliced with GV, giving birth to an extremely hostile creature. However, despite Apilla bird's hostility toward adults, it has for unknown reasons become protective and motherly towards human children, and fellow experiments case 10A to 10F, the baby Apilla birds we meet later in the chapter. The next room is a long hallway featuring many doors, though only one is unlocked at the far side. As our protagonist enters through this door, they come face to face with a deadly Apilla bird, who immediately gives chase. A friendly voice calls out to aid us, guiding our hero to a now open door which locks behind them.
Quick, in here!
Unfortunately, this voice sounds friendly, but the mascot behind it is anything but. This is Bambalina, and she runs a classroom made up of 3 separate groups. The unpopular students, represented by watering cans, the cool kids, represented by basketballs wearing sunglasses, and the mean kids, represented by these bowling pins. We learn from Bambalina's monologue that the mascots enjoy feeding on humans, especially human brains.
Over the course of the semester, you will learn how to annihilate others, how to safely extract the human brain for eating, and... Oh, wait, I made a mistake. I think that's lesson 4 of the day.
Bambalina will not attack as long as we take part in her class and correctly answer the question she poses. To correctly answer each question, we must select the corresponding classmate. Here are some examples.
What is 6874123612 plus 9819399912? And remember, wrong answers will be very harshly punished. 7 185-606-3524. Correct! Let's start with some common knowledge to freshen your stupid brains. Can anyone here give me an example of an unkind person? I will beat you to death. Correct! That is a perfect example. Good job.
Between each class, we must solve a simple playground-themed puzzle. These include saving an unpopular kid from the bullies by retrieving gum for the cool kids, and handing over lunch money to the mean kids. Upon returning to class, we then get to join a new friend group based on our actions in the playground. First, we join the cool kids, and lastly the mean kids. During the third class, a strange sound can be heard, which then distracts Banbalina for just long enough for our protagonist to slip away unnoticed. We then find ourselves in a garden-like area, containing a group of cute and friendly Apillabird chicks. These are the aforementioned experiments 10A to 10F. The mother Apillabird guards our escape route, and so before opening the door, we must scoop up all the 6 baby birds and place them into a rubber ring in the adjacent corridor. Then, when we open the door and hide, the Apillabird mother will race to see her chicks rather than trying to gobble us up. Also in this room is secret number 3, the second collectible hat for our drone. Returning to the main corridor, we are greeted by a terrifying sight. Slow Celine lies in wait and requires us to follow a very particular set of rules if we hope to survive. When Celine's eyes stand up straight, we must remain perfectly still. But when they separate and she begins to search for her prey, we are then able to run, putting as much ground as possible between ourselves and the slimy snail. Repeating this strategy leads us to the safety of an open door. This door leads to a beach-themed room full of cannons. These cannons must be activated by collecting up 8 shells from around the environment and then depositing them in Stinger Flynn's treasure chest. This unlocks a storage room containing a keycard required to power up the cannons. Once powered up, we must use the cannons to shoot the highlighted buttons around the room before the timer runs down. Doing so grants us access to a surveillance room where we find a control panel and yet another keycard. Also in this room is another case report file. This report details the GV substance used in the mascot experiments. We discover GV functions as a substitute for blood when combined with certain test subjects, cases 3, 6 and 5, though GV has a side effect, causing large vein-like growths to appear on its subjects. Though outside of their unpleasant appearance, these growths seem to have no negative effect on a test subject. Before heading back to the main hallway, if we hop across the beach umbrellas, we locate secret number 4, the third and final hat for our drone to wear should we be so inclined. For secret number 5, collect up the rocket from the cannon minigame and then backtrack all the way to the science lab area where the giant once blocked our path. Load the cannon with the rocket and it will fire, activating a hidden button in the adjacent room. Now head all the way back to the comms room and you'll notice that the previously inaccessible red room has been unlocked. This room contains 3 notes as well as a diagram for a Type 5 experiment on the whiteboard. This diagram reveals that case 3 refers to the mascot's vocals, their ability to produce sound, while case 6 refers to their heart, the thing keeping them alive. Another board illustrates that there have been 56 rounds of testing, with the latest tests declaring experiments Banban, Banbalina, Stinger Flynn, Captain Fiddles and the Apillabird as a success. Jumbo Josh and Slow Celine are adequate, while Nab Nab and Captain Toadster were deemed failures. The contents of the 3 notes explains a lot about the story so far. The first note seems to be from upper management, addressing a scientist called Uffman. Management told Uffman that the experiments he was conducting were not working out, with only 1 in every 10 experiments delivering on the promise of bringing mascots to life using the substance GV. It also explains that Juvanium is sourced from friends down south. The note hints that all research is to be stopped if more presentable cases are not delivered before the upcoming Bring a Friend Day. This seems to be the day when all hell broke loose at the kindergarten and the children and staff went missing. Note 2 seems to be another note to Uffman, but one written by a friend or work partner. This person tries to reassure Uffman that if they push forward with the remaining 6 experiments and deliver, then all will be forgiven, suggesting that they drop Slow Celine, Nab Nab and Captain Toadster and concentrate on developing the other mascots. The writer also references a secret hidden experiment in the basement known as Zolphius, the terrifying worm-like creature we met while exploring the atrium. It seems this monstrosity was kept under lock and key, hidden from management's knowledge. A failed experiment that could ruin the careers of the scientists behind it. The final note has no name on it, but I believe it is also addressed to Uffman and written by the author of the previous message. The tone of this letter is very different. The writer speaks of how the architecture behind the ball pit is unstable, and it's a miracle the thing hasn't collapsed yet. They go on to describe a catastrophe that is certain to happen the following day. This day is hinted to be the aforementioned Bring a Friend Day, a day when management of the kindergarten were to reveal the living mascots to the public for the first time. It seems that on this fateful day the mascots ran riot, attacking both children and staff alike. The ball pit collapsed, falling into the abyss and taking the children with it. However, the Apilla bird guarded the children and kept them safe from the other mascots. This is all information gathered while playing the original Garten of Banban, and thanks to these notes, it now makes sense. Now the parent of one such child has arrived to search for them, and fallen into a living nightmare. The note ends with the line, "I'll have a plan ready for tomorrow, now you just pack your things." Remember, in chapter 1 we discovered 2 boarding passes for a flight leaving from Montreal to Madrid. The passengers' names on these passes were Weatherly Mason and Uffman Adam, so it seems that they were the 2 scientists conversing in these secret letters. Knowing of the impending catastrophe about to go down on Bring a Friend Day with the reveal of their experiments, the 2 scientists boarded up the kindergarten and prepared to fly off into the sunset. However, as their boarding passes were left inside the building, it seems something happened, and neither Weatherly or Uffman ever caught their flight. The protagonist returns to the rainbow hallway and discovers a new door is now accessible, leading into a room full of precarious floating platforms, which hang over a pit leading into the abyss below. They pick up a note left by their child. The note reads, "Dear Mommy, I am okay and Claire is okay. The nice jellyfish saved us from the big bird and the evil red man. We are going to the jellyfish's home." This suggests that our protagonist may be female, the mother of the child writing these notes. We found the first of these notes during Garten of Banban chapter 1, a literal paper trail guiding the parent to the location of their lost children. It seems the child and their friend have been lured away by Stinger Flynn, and when scanned, a nearby note featuring a QR code tells us not to trust the jellyfish. It seems Stinger Flynn is a trickster who uses deceptive tactics to kidnap children. The jellyfish is also scheduled to feature as the main antagonist in Garten of Banban 3. The final secret for this chapter can be found while jumping across the many shaped platforms leading upwards. In the far corner of the room is this tape. Collect it up and then head all the way back to the comm center to play it on the TV. This tape shows the process of creating a living mascot. A mold is prepared and the subject DNA and GV solution then injected inside, bringing the once lifeless mass to life. After scaling the perilous climb, the parent reaches a room with a birthday cake, perhaps a little nod to the famous scene from the Portal series. This room is known as the Assembly Room and contains a number of doors, each one featuring a different mascot. Banban enters the room on an elevator and speaks to the protagonist.
But there was one thing I didn't lie to you about, and that's me knowing why you're here. You're here for your children. I too am working towards saving them, if you can believe it. But someone else has them. Someone far stronger than you and me both, that resides deep in the abyss.
But before he can say any more, the doors to the assembly room begin to open, and both Bambalina and Jumbo Josh, who miraculously survived after being crushed by the elevator, show up to give chase. We must avoid Jumbo Josh as Bambalina chases us, racing for the safety of the elevator located within the Apilla Bird room. Eventually, Bambalina is accidentally crushed by Jumbo Josh, and we are then safe to continue our adventure. But after stepping inside the elevator, slow Celine shows up and sends it down into the depths of the abyss. It's too late to heed the warning written on the wall. No matter what you do, don't go down there. And this is where the story of Banban ends for now. And with that, we come to the end of this video and a look at the story of Garten of Banban 2. I hope you found this video both entertaining and informative, and if you did, remember to leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more horror related content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.